Hello and welcome back, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms players out there. This is Dragothien here, and as you can see, today we're going to be doing a commander pairing spotlight. I want to break them down into 5 categories. We're going to have survivability, damage, utility, speed, and talents. We're going to go through all of those. We're going to give them a star ranking, and then at the end, we're going to give them a final grade on each role that you can have in the game: open field, rally, and garrison. Let's go ahead and jump in and let's get started. Okay, here we have the Ramesses YSG Spotlight, a classic archer pair. This has been a tried and true pairing on the open field for archers for quite some time. Let's go through, again, the 5 categories that we're ranking these pairings on. Let's go ahead and grade them out, and then we'll go ahead and, on the right side at the end, put together a solid letter grade for open field, rally, and garrison. Let's go ahead and get started off with survivability. I think that ultimately, when we're looking at Ramesses and YSG, we have to look at survivability in a couple ways. First off, Ramesses is really the only one bringing anything to the table here. YSG is pure damage. He's pure AoE rage, damage, generation, attack. That's really what he brings to the table. So to get any kind of survivability, Ramesses utilizes his 10% chance, 40% defense buff, as well as in that same skill, getting some healing done possibly when it triggers on normal attacks. Otherwise, there's not really much survivability to go off of here. And with Ramesses and YSG being a primary damage dealing, which we'll go to the next category here in just a second, that can be a little bit of trouble for Ramesses, because I tend to want to target Ramesses quite often early because of the damage output capability that he provides. Let's go ahead and jump to the second category here. We gave survivability 3 out of 5 stars. Damage, on the other hand, 5 out of 5 stars. That's our first 5-star recruit. Ramesses YSG with 5-star damage. Let's talk about it really quickly. Ramesses' first skill pumps out a ton of damage, especially when expertised over 2 seconds. You also have to account for the fact that YSG not only brings a ton of AoE damage, but he also brings a 50% skill damage buff to the pairing. So not only is that going to buff YSG's damage, but it also buffs Ramesses' amazing single target damage as well. This is a solid pairing through and through when it comes to damage. If I could have added more stars and I didn't want to break the system, I definitely would have done that. This thing pumps out a ton of damage. Now, if you put YSG primary and Ramesses secondary, it would be even more damage because of the way that the talent trees work and things like that. However, as we all know, YSG primary gets targeted instantly on the field, and you don't want to do that. You're going to have a ton of damage capability, but not necessarily be alive long enough to put it out there. So something to kind of keep in mind as we are talking about Ramesses YSG being the pairing here. Still 5-star damage, incredible. Utility. Now, I started off putting this at 3 out of 5. But I wanted to bump it up a little bit because, again, Ramesses has a unique utility that no other commander has, and that's the ability to completely block a heal when he is expertised if it goes off at the right time. And you can, especially in a rally situation, really time it out to where you will block the primary commander's heal if you're going up against, say, a Zenobia or a Richard. If you're going up against a Richard, you're going to have a field day, but it can be done. You're going to block that heal with his heal immunity effect. Also, again, having a ton of utility for yourself as well, with a rage engine coming from YSG, from the attack and defense bonuses that you receive from Ramesses as well. But more importantly, his primary skill, defense debuff, 25 to 30%, depending on if you have him expertised or not, is a huge bonus. There's not many defense debuffs out there. On our last Commander Spotlight, we had an AoE defense debuff with XY, but that's, again, very, very rare. So, again, utility, I ended up putting him, this pairing, at 4 out of 5 stars. Again, Ramesses bringing a lot more of the group utility, But again, with the pairing of YSG, the singular utility that you have and all the synergies and bonuses that you have together brought this to 4 stars. Now, speed. We're talking about archers, right? So first off, again, not the fastest units in the game. They're not necessarily cav, for instance, but we're going to go 3 out of 5 stars. With archers, they are slower than cavs, but they're faster than infantry. So I feel like I needed to start at 2 stars. And there is a skill for Ramesses that does provide a march speed bonus, and it's a fairly significant one, but again, it is a chance-based skill. As you see on the screen there, it is not all the time. YSG provides absolutely 0 mobility. So again, you aren't going to necessarily get a 4 or a 5 star out of the speed category here, but you will get 3 because there is a chance on hit for Ramesses to trigger his skill to go ahead and add some more mobility. And again, archers aren't the slowest things on the field, so again, not too bad. 3 out of 5 stars average is what we're going for here. And finally, our last category, the talents tree, I put it at 4 out of 5 stars. Reason I say that, this is a talent tree, the attack tree with the archer tree, really going full archers here, going really heavily onto the archer talent tree and getting some of the best talent skills in the game from the attack tree, I should say, because again, you're able to go so heavily into the archer tree. Everything you're getting is heavily focused on archers, which is great for this particular pairing. And then the augmentations that you get from the attack tree really benefit open field, rally, and if you wanted to do garrison, you certainly could, although I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But again, we're going to go ahead and go a 4 out of 5 star. It's one of those classic pairings that Ramesses YSG that lends itself very well to the talent build that you see on your screen here, where Ramesses being primary, you got that full archer tree, you've got the attack tree going into effortless, you've got all the other bonuses coming on the top there as well as the bottom. And again, you're just getting a good synergy with YSG providing the rage that you might be losing by not having a skill-based tree with rejuvenate and things like that, but you're still getting rage bonuses by using the burning blood and things like that. So you're going to be in really good shape there. Talent-wise, 4 out of 5 stars. So as you can see, Ramesses YSG has shaped up to be quite the breakdown here of stars. You've got 3 out of 5, 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, and 4 out of 5 with a 5 out of 5 in damage. Absolutely incredible. Let's go over to the grades and let's start giving this pairing their due grades from these breakdowns on the stars. So open field grade is number 1. We're going to get started with that. And with a single 5 out of 5, 2 4 out of 5s, and 2 3 out of 5s, open field grade has got to be an S. This is an S tier, best in class, open field march. If you're using this on the field, you're going to be causing a ton of damage. You have some survivability when it comes to the heal, the defense buff on chance, and again, a little bit of mobility as well from Ramesses. There's some survivability there. But again, you're going to be pumping out so much damage, especially if it's not a mass swarm situation. You may just out damage your targets to the point where you can take on 2 marches if they're not necessarily S tier marches against yourself. So very strong open field grade of S for Ramesses YSG. Let's talk rally grade. And again, we've got some really high-end ralliers out there with Gilgamesh, and we've got Nebu, and we've got a bunch of different pairings that are using Ramesses, but not necessarily Ramesses YSG. I'm going to give the rally grade as an A tier. And again, reason being, it's a great counter rally for anything that's out there, especially if it's a Pakal rally or something like that. Ramesses YSG is not the easiest thing to swarm down because of all the AoE damage and all the attack bonuses. Again, also having that heal available and defense buff on proc, not bad for the swarm. And then also, again, if it's not necessarily going up against a Zenobia YSS or even an Emanatori and Artemisia, or especially if it's a Jadwiga YSS, don't do that. But as long as it's not one of those three garrison leaders, Ramesses YSG will do perfectly fine in a regular rally situation as a main rally. So I'm going to put them as an A tier, giving them the credibility of being able to provide some good solid rallies, but mostly, especially at the top tier of the game, Season of Conquest commanders with Zeno and Jadwiga and EMULATOR, relegating this Ramesses YSG pairing rally-wise to a counter rally role. And finally, Garrison. I don't want to say F tier because that's not the worst thing in the world. Anything with YSG is not going to be an F tier. So we're going to go with B tier on Ramesses YSG in the Garrison. Not your best thing. A lot of the stuff is, on the map kind of situation. I will say, again, YSG does have Garrison skill, so it's not the worst thing in the world. And again, with the attack bonuses, the proccable things that are happening with Ramesses, that might not necessarily work on the Garrison side of it, but you get what I'm saying. They do okay. It has to obviously be full archers inside of that Garrison if it's going to even be a B tier. If it's not full archers, you're losing quite a bit of damage with the 100% proc of YSG's second skill. You're losing a lot of just overall things already. So B tier for Garrison grade, not too bad. That's how good this pairing is. You got an S, an A, and a B tier for all the grades. Open field being S, rally being A, and Garrison grade being B. I hope you guys have enjoyed the ranking video. Again, this is a fun series for me to put together because it allows me to really break these guys down on their particular skills and tell you what those skills do for you in each role in the game and how they kind of fit in with each other, especially as a pair. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this one, and if you have any particular pairings that you want me to give this same treatment for, throw it in the comments section below. Hit the like button before you leave, hit the sub button if you have not done so already, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.